So we finally got the last team for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls with the Samurai Outriders. Honestly, not the team I or anybody else was expecting. Hell, I wasn't even considering Loki to be in this team, but considering the variant comics we did have left, kinda checks out. Now, I already dropped a first-minute analysis video literally right after the Evo trailer dropped, which you could always check out. But something I wasn't expecting was the PlayStation website to immediately update with descriptions for all three of Blade, Loki, and Deadpool. With past team announcements, it'd be a whole week before we saw website descriptions go up, separate from the blog posts. But they're important because they reveal a good amount of info that the trailers and the blogs don't usually give us, mainly when it comes to their unique moves and their unique mechanics. So, as a follow-up to that analysis video, I'm going to go more in depth into all three of these characters' website descriptions to see if we can figure out a little bit more about these characters. And also to talk a little bit about story, because I dropped $40 on Deadpool Samurai, and while it was a really good read, I really need to justify that purchase. So we're going to get a little into that too later on, but either way, let's delve one layer further than before into the Samurai Outriders. Now we're going to go in order, and we're going to start off with the one I'm the most excited to play, the dangerous Daywalker himself, Blade. I'm going to be picking him up when the game drops and in the beta. I know I didn't have a solid decision on the team I want to play during my immediate analysis, and while I still don't, I have a solid few ideas. I'll be playing Wolverine and Blade for sure. That is locked down. And the last two spots are going to be an amalgamation of Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Carnage. It all really mainly depends on Carnage, since we still don't have a full solid scoop on how he plays, and I'm waiting for his character guide to drop to really make a decision on if I really want to dedicate myself to him. I will play the former two in the beta alongside Wolverine and Blade, since Carnage isn't available there, and considering CEO is going to be like week 1 of the game dropping, I might just bring that team to CEO, and then after that we will dedicate time to Carnage. Either way, what has Blade got that makes him just a solid lock for me? Well, Blade is a character equipped with an arsenal to fight at any range. His unique Heartstopper allows him to attack from range while approaching the opponent. It can only be used a certain number of times, as indicated by the Heartstopper icon. Take advantage of openings to restock it with Up the Stakes. Now, we already knew that Blade was going to be an aggressive rushdown character, but this description shines up in a nuance into his playstyle. We saw in the trailer his Heartstopper unique, which are these sets of stakes he can throw at the opponent, which locks them in place for a bit before what I imagine to be the Rekka follow-up, where he teleports the opponent and gets the follow-up hit, which then lets Blade's sword, Muramasa, glow red and get more damage on sword-based attacks. We actually see him hit it twice, once in the air too, so you can even anti-air opponents with these stakes to capitalize on this Muramasa buff. The important detail we get here though is that you don't have unlimited stakes. You have a finite amount. I imagine on a meter similar to what we get with past blessings. And if you run out, you have to hit this new move, Up the Stakes. While we don't see a move during the trailer I'd equate to Up the Stakes, or what I think would be it, I think it'd be more of a command normal or tied to an unique button. If it's a super though, that is going to make Blade's resource management a lot more interesting. It does say to take advantage of openings when using this move, so probably best to use it when you get a hard knockdown or if you can cover with an assist at full screen. Either way, it's going to be making Blade a more thoughtful character, making sure you make every stake throw count to not put yourself in a bad situation. And we'll learn more about it once the beta drops, and you can definitely expect me to get more in depth in a guide on my channel. I'm definitely making a guide for Blade. As for how Blade's team dynamic is going to be, as yes, I'm going to be covering the story of all three of these characters and how they could fit in the Samurai Outriders, since I did the same for my Midnight Suns video, which we don't talk about because Deadpool thinks it's funny to make fun of my dreams, and I don't like that. It's okay though. I'm okay. But we still have Blade, and you know, Blade's gonna have to deal with Loki and Deadpool's bullshit, but it's gonna be okay because he's still with Robbie. And everything I said in that video is still true. They were still part of the Avengers during the A volume, and they are part of the Midnight Suns of my damn heart, man! It's fine. I'm fine. He does have the Muramasa blade though, which is real interesting. He never wielded in any other piece of Marvel media, and it's mainly been a Wolverine weapon, mainly with a lot of his Japanese arcs, and even briefly got into Virgil's hands. So it's cool that after Blade's Japanese training arc that he gets a little into in the blog, and we get to see him rock this blade. Now we're gonna skip ahead to Merc with the Mouth himself, Deadpool. So I already know from the blog and the trailer that he has a huge moveset referencing a bunch of different fighting games like Mortal Kombat, Marvel vs. Capcom, and Guilty Gear, and that he has a lot of self-harming moves that are used for his healing factor. We do get a lot more of a spotlight on these in the website, saying Deadpool's combination of standard and unique moves allows him to fight at any range. Expending his healing gauge, which is generated by enduring attacks, alters the triangle version of his skills. His unique meat shield also allows him to generate healing gauge on his own. Master his rich set of skills. So from this, we know that he can get his healing gauge up, not just by hitting those self-harm attacks like Yoshimitsu's, but also just taking damage. We also know that cashing out on it also changes the medium versions of these moves. What these moves actually are is still TBD. Same with how they'll be changed. Could be a whole different move entirely that we see if you pop the heal. We just don't know his moveset yet to know for sure. We do know that he has a unique attack now in Meat Shield where he can gain some healing gauge, and I imagine without taking too much damage, unlike that Seppuku that we see right there. Another move though that we don't see in the trailer, so TBD on that. I did see him a bit as a reference character before, especially with his huge FGC based moveset, but with the layer caused by the healing gauge, he could be a fire resource management heavy type of character. As for his role in the team dynamic, I imagine Deadpool will easily piss off everybody, not even just in the Samurai Outriders, but in the game itself. He can be obnoxious, he can be unserious, and in a potential world-ending tournament like the one the champion is holding, yeah, people are going to get pissed off with him. I mean, he's going to be referencing fighting games a lot in his moveset, and we do know that he was able to take a strategy guide and learn a bunch of moves, and I imagine people are just going to be so happy to constantly hear that they are in a quote-unquote fighting game. But finally, we got the God of Mischief, Loki. In my opinion, the true wild card of the team, as I was not expecting him to be a part of the team. I was expecting so many other options. Nico, Clea, Punisher, Gwenpool, the fucking Man-Thing, the fucking Winter Soldier. I expected the Winter Soldier over Loki, but I mean, he's here. We already know from the blog that he's a very technical-based character, complete with a crap ton of feints and counters, plus a bunch of spells considering how versed he is in sorcery. There's also the mention that it's important for Loki to get his trickery off successfully, as failure to do so can leave him wide open to get punished. The website reveals a lot more though, saying that Loki is a technical character who wields magic to confuse the opponent, perform lunging attacks and projectiles as normal or as feints or even counters to prevent the opponent from attacking, use Nornstone to limit the opponent's movements, and make the most of his varied kit to toy with the opponent. So at least from the wording, this creates an insanely tricky type of character. We know from the wording of the blog that these lunging attacks and projectiles are his skills, but what if all of his skills have the options of leading it to feints or counters with Rekka buttons? That would make Loki truly a god, as you never know as the opponent if it's the best move to actually dive in on a Loki, maybe just trying to assist poke over and over at a safe range, or just do a bunch of zoner shenanigans, because he could easily feint or counter you, and that could really break check you easily if you're playing a team like mine that really wants to dive in. There's also the new feature of the Nornstone, which could be his unique. We don't get much on what they actually do, other than we know that they can inhibit the opponent's movement. We don't see anything like that in the trailer. The most is just all the ice spells we get from Loki, which I imagine are part of those skills from before. As for how he'll be in the team, we know he's on the side of good now, protesting how many times he saved Asgard. Like, we get it, buddy. As for what could have potentially flipped him over, okay, now we're gonna mention Deadpool Samurai. The plot is pretty simple here. Deadpool gets recruited by the Avengers to join their new Japanese subdivision Samurai Squad. Loki's causing trouble in Japan and even offers Deadpool a spot in his League of Villains, which Deadpool passes up because he's an intentional. Loki gets close to actually destroying Japan because of this. Says, "You will rue the day that you rejected me, Deadpool." Even summoning a clone of Thanos that gets one-shotted by All Might. Yeah, straight up All Might. All Might just Deadpool eventually, though, beats Loki with the help of an alternate version of himself, and they learn why Loki even wanted to eradicate specifically Japan in the first place. All because Thor became an otaku chud and just wanted to watch anime and not fight anymore. He's boring. Fine, sure. But in the quote-unquote second season of Deadpool Samurai, Loki actually joins up with Deadpool on the side of good, with his main motivation being him catching wind of the sacrifice that Loki and the MCU made at the end of season 2, and after the TVA is under threat from the Deadpool Corps, joins up with the Deadpool of his world to honor his other sacrifice. Well, I don't believe our Loki will explicitly mention the MCU's version. He may have had experience with the TVA and know of the multiverse, turning him into a good guy. We do also have the Deadpool Corps here, so it isn't a totally far-fetched idea, and that's it. Honestly, I've come around to this team. It's pretty hype. Again, I really wanted the Midnight Suns, but you know, I'll settle. I know all 3 of these new additions will make for some very popular choices, and as I said before, I am super excited to be picking up Blade. He looks so cool! And you'll be able to watch my Twitch for that, since I took off of work the whole weekend so I can study up and learn the game as much as possible. As I've said time and time before, I am very excited for this game, and I am ready to do so much more for it. So I'll be streaming it all, and after that stream, you will definitely be catching a bunch of character guides for Wolverine, Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Blade, and I'll even do dissection videos leading up to the beta when we get all characters of those respectives, including Carnage's character guides. Obviously, those will come out as soon as the character guides come out. I would literally spawn camp. So if there's a spotty video schedule leading up to the beta, you can imagine why. But either way, look forward to all of that. But either way, I hope you all enjoyed this deeper look into the Samurai Outriders. Y'all have a good one. Deuces.